Hey y'all, welcome to Seed Time Harvest. I want to talk specifically to new gardeners today. We were all there at one time and on the fence about should I or shouldn't I, and if I do, what should I grow? Everybody says grow this, but I don't really like that. And so let's just talk about when you're first going to set up your garden. As you may have heard, we need a sunny location, at least 6 to 8 hours. It does not have to have 16 hours of sun. Some plants might prefer that, but most don't, especially in Texas. I garden here in Texas, North Central, and we have a lot of very hot days, very bright, sunny, hot days. And so my garden is kind of set up with some of the taller plants shading some of the not so sun-loving plants, but we can get into that later. So you pick a sunny location, and are you going to plant in pots or are you going to plant directly in the ground? Do a raised bed garden, and so once you get all your logistics set up, then you want to make sure that you have a good soil. If you're in pots, of course, you want to use potting soil. I've always used Pro Mix. I've never had any trouble with Pro Mix. The only time I had trouble is when I tried to buy something cheaper and ended up losing crops as they just suffered in different soils that were too heavy or too woody. So as a new gardener, I would suggest starting with less than 5 crops. Pick out something that you know you and your family will eat. And since we're getting into fall gardening, the lettuces, spinach, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbages, they all grow really well in the fall, as well as all of the greens that are edible. You can saute them, put them in soups and stews, stuff like that. Radishes grow great right now. All the root crops will start planting soon. And so pick out, I would say 3 to 5 crops. And get your seeds. And there's lots of places online and in the stores. A lot of stores have done away with their seeds for this particular time of year, which I talked to a seed vendor and suggested that they don't pull all the seeds at this time of the year, because I went into a store to get a specific crop and they had no seeds left whatsoever. They'd already pulled them and donated them, even though technically they don't expire till the end of the year. But seeds don't actually expire ever. I have seeds that I've been planting since about 2012, and so they just keep going. Germination goes down a little bit, but they're still fine. And so once you got your site picked, you got your seeds picked, then you plant your seeds according to the package directions. Some of them, like my celery, I sow directly on top of the soil. I do not cover it with any soil, and I just water it in. And there's actually a lot of seeds like that. They just like to be watered in. And then other seeds, I might go 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch. I rarely go, well, I guess I do go 1/2 inch on my peas and larger seeds. The larger the seed, the deeper you go. And I've even had my granddaughter plant seeds very deep and they still germinated. They just took a little longer to find the surface. So once you get your seeds sown, then you need to consider pest pressure. Here, I would not get a crop up if I did not cover with insect netting. In fact, I lost at least half of what I planted this year because of grasshoppers. And I know that they're a heavy pressure here because I've gardened here for several years. But if you've never gardened in an area, you do not know what's going to show up. Flea beetles are terrible and usually attack in the early spring, but I have seen them attack in the fall. So just beware when you plant that you may or may not have pest pressure. And I choose not to use anything at all on my garden. When I first started gardening, I jumped in and did, at least 1,000 square foot garden. It was really too much. My son and I got burned out before the garden got burned up, and it was really a hassle. And then the second garden that I planted was so successful, and then I was hooked. I was completely, passionately in love with my garden, and have been ever since. I enjoy all things gardening. I enjoy sitting down pulling grass and weeds as long as it's not too hot like it is now. I just thoroughly enjoy it. The bees and the wasps and the other bugs that I get to see really impress me. And so, because they're all working, and most of them are working for me, not against me. So keep that in mind. And when you do come across pests, there are things that you can do. I choose not to. I choose to, because I am chemical sensitive, I choose not to put anything, not even quote unquote organic stuff. I just don't believe it's necessary. And if you allow your garden to evolve over the years, the birds and the wasps, and they will take care of the pests for you. And always plant extra. When you're a new gardener, don't just plant one cabbage. Plant 5 or 6 at least, because you probably will lose 1 or 2 to pests. So I always plant at least 3 times more than what I think I'm going to need. And then I can always, harvest them small or take them out later. If you have plenty of space, sky's the limit to what you can plant. But I wish you a very successful planting season. And tell me in the comments, what seeds are you sowing?